The month of May is Celiac Disease Awareness Month, and about 3 million Americans suffer from this autoimmune disease. It's caused by an intolerance to gluten, which is found in anything made with wheat.
But here's the question, is going gluten-free a food fad, and just how serious of an issue is celiac disease? Joining us is CEO of the Celiac Disease Foundation, Marilyn Geller. So many questions about this because we actually do have many people here that are gluten-free. We're trying always to kind of understand it better. So can you help us understand what exactly is happening in the body when someone has celiac disease?
So celiac disease is actually one of the world's most common genetic autoimmune disorders. And so when people with celiac disease eat gluten, which is a protein found in wheat, rye, or barley, it actually damages their small intestine. There's these little fingers called villi, and it breaks them off, and it makes it that people with celiac disease actually cannot absorb nutrients. So celiac disease becomes a disease of malnutrition.
And so what are the symptoms associated with gluten intolerance, and who would diagnose this? How is it diagnosed?
So it should be diagnosed by blood test. And the most important thing for people to know is the blood test only works if you're eating gluten. If you stop eating gluten, the blood test is not going to tell you whether you have a sensitivity to gluten. So when you take your blood test and you're not eating gluten, if you are sensitive to gluten, you will have a high antibody level. And then your doctor will refer you to a GI, a gastroenterologist, who will then want to do a biopsy. So they do this with an endoscopy. This is the tube that goes down through your throat into your gut, and they biopsy your gut, and then a pathologist will read it to determine whether you actually have celiac disease or not.
Okay, I want to make sure I understand it correctly. So celiac disease is different from people who just have a gluten intolerance. Like some people can say, for me, if I were to eat a bagel, we were talking about bagels the other day, bagels really give me a stomach ache. And it took me a long time to realize that was what was making me not feel good. But I don't have celiac disease, but I just know that certain foods maybe don't make me feel as comfortable. You get bloated. That's different, right? Can you talk about the differences?
That is different. So there are IBS symptoms, which are very similar to celiac disease symptoms. There's also something called FODMAPs, FODMAPs, and these are all the different makeups of the food that we eat. You may actually have a sensitivity to some sort of fruits or some sort of grains that aren't actually the gluten in the wheat. And so for people with celiac disease, there's actually testing to determine that you have celiac disease, but for people who think they have a gluten sensitivity, they really have to work with their gastroenterologist to determine if it might be something else.
Or just be thoughtful when you're eating. You just remember how food makes you feel. I'm off of bagels now. I'm off of bagels.
Especially if it makes you feel that way.
But let's talk about the fact that a lot of people say that they might go to, say Rome or somewhere else and find that when they eat bread or pasta in other countries, they don't have the same reaction. Why is that?
Well, I mean, we'd all love to think that there's a strain of wheat out there that, especially for people with celiac disease, that we can eat it. But all I can tell you is that our scientific experts say whether people think they have symptoms or not, the wheat worldwide is still causing the same internal damage to their small intestine that's still breaking off of those villi. So even if you think you feel better when you eat bread in Europe, if you have celiac disease, you need to be only eating gluten-free bread.
I'm curious about treatment, but I just want to touch on something quickly. Is this something new? Are we doing something to the wheat? Is it because it's genetically modified? Because I don't know. I don't really hear about these problems overseas like you were talking about. So is this something we're doing, or it's just how humans are evolving?
Well, wheat is not genetically modified. It's hybridized in the field, and it has been hybridized over the years to be more plentiful, to be more drought resistant. But all of the studies done have shown that there's nothing in the changes of the wheat that are causing more celiac disease. They do think it's an environmental trigger, but it's not more gluten consumption.
And back to that, what are the treatment options for celiac disease, and what are the risks of, if you don't treat it?
So the treatment options are a gluten-free diet, a strict gluten-free diet, which means no wheat, no rye, no barley, none of the fun foods that those of us who've had to give up gluten remember and enjoy fondly. But the issue is that there are drugs in the pipeline, and there's hope that one day there will be a therapy for people with celiac disease that they can take that will allow them maybe not to eat gluten, but to go out and enjoy life. And if they get a little bit of a cross contact with gluten, say a crumb from a crouton on their salad, that they won't get sick.
Right. We're out of time, but really quick, is there something people would not realize that has gluten in it that we eat every day?
Barbecue sauce and soy sauce. That was the biggest surprise to me.
Oh.
They both have wheat protein in them.
And when should you get tested? If you think you have it, or just if your body's reacting in a certain way?
Well, if you have a family member with celiac disease, you absolutely need to get tested. Celiac disease affects 1 in 100 people, but 1 in 10 if you have a family member. But what I recommend is on our website, we do have a symptoms assessment tool, and that is the best place to start at celiac.org to find out.
That's great. We actually have that information on the screen right there. For more about celiac disease, including the system assessment that you just heard about, you can visit celiac.org. Anyone who makes a donation through the month of May will actually receive gluten-free goodies from King Arthur Baking Company. So you can visit celiac.org/MCAM, which is May Celiac Awareness Month, for details.
Glad we did that segment.
Yeah,
Learned a lot
interesting.
there.